The Nationals have been rolling out a new lineup with the top hitter, James Wood, in the leadoff spot, and I'm here to tell you that this should stay.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And yes, I'm your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11. And yes, we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. And later on in today's show, we have the New York Mets, who are in town going up against the Washington Nationals. Jake Irvin, Brad Lord, and Mackenzie Gore starts for the Nats over these 3 games. So we'll discuss that later on in the program today. And in the second segment, we've got a couple of roster moves for the Washington Nationals. Jose Tena has been optioned to AAA. What do I think about that? And who got called up? But also Nathaniel Lowe has joined the Boston Red Sox. We'll discuss that and why I actually think Nathaniel Lowe might do pretty well in Boston. We'll have that discussion for you later on in the show today. But the Nationals have been rolling out a new look lineup, and yes, I love it. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, and football season is around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets now. The Washington Nationals over the weekend kind of rolled out this new lineup, and it starts with James Wood in the leadoff spot. And I think a lot of people were kind of confused, number one, but number two, questioning Miguel Cairo and Mike DeBartolo and what they were doing. But honestly, this is the correct decision for the Nationals moving forward. And I do believe that James Wood belongs in the leadoff spot, at least for now. So on Sunday, in the Nationals' 11-9 loss against the Phillies, and really also just overall that entire series, you saw the Nationals kind of tinkering with their lineup. On Sunday, you saw Luis Garcia Jr. in the leadoff spot with James Wood getting the day off. But then in Saturday's 2-0 win, you saw James Wood in that leadoff spot. And this is, in my opinion, what should be happening. Now, to get into the analytics of it, the reason why your analytic nerds out there, like myself, say that your leadoff hitter is no longer your fast guy. Because in the 2000s and the 2010s, it was always like your fast guy who's like a Trey Turner type, who's going to get on base, but also is going to steal bases, and he's kind of one of those fast guys to make pitchers think about it. Nowadays, you want your best hitter leading off. And the reason why that is simple math. The leadoff hitter gets the most opportunities at the plate. Nowadays, you want your best hitter to get the most opportunities. If it's a fast runner, awesome, that's just another plus. Luckily for the Nationals, you've got the best in both worlds here. You have got James Wood, who is unequivocally your best hitter today. But also, he's probably one of the 3 fastest guys on this team. Maybe the 4th or 5th, doesn't matter. He's a plus 50 grade speed guy. Really fast runner. James Wood has had success in the leadoff spot. And we saw it this past weekend as the Nationals won 2-0 on Saturday with Wood in that leadoff spot. Now, who hit those 2 guys in? Well, it was James Wood himself. And then on Friday, you saw James Wood in the leadoff spot as well. Went over. But then let's talk about Thursday. Thursday, he had another hit. He did strike out 3 times in that appearance as well. But let's look at the overall numbers, though, of James Wood in the leadoff spot. Because believe it or not, he has actually hit in the leadoff spot 16 times this season. And in those 16 games, he has 21 hits over 67 at-bats, 8 doubles, 5 home runs, 17 RBIs, and a .657 slug. The results are there. James Wood is plenty comfortable enough in that leadoff spot. Now for the other side of the coin here with CJ Abrams. CJ has been the leadoff hitter for basically the last 3 seasons. And a lot of times I was standing on the table pre-James Wood seeing that CJ should be in the leadoff spot. But it was not because of his speed. It really wasn't. It was because at that time, CJ was the Nationals' best hitter. Pre-James Wood, you had Jeimer Candelario in 2023. Good hitter, but he's not going to be your leadoff guy. You had a couple other guys. Lane Thomas was solid. He could have been in the one spot here and there, but still, CJ was your best overall hitter. And now you've got James Wood in this, who, by the way, in a small sample size, has looked really good in the leadoff spot. The Nationals did this earlier on in May this season as well. And in that stretch, the Nationals were super consistent. And you can even go back to the May episodes of me talking about this with James Wood in the leadoff spot. The Nationals were competitive. They were winning games. And really, the offense looked completely different. Trying this new approach with Wood in the leadoff spot, this is what should be happening moving forward. But to get back to what CJ Abrams has done, where does CJ go if he's not going to be in the leadoff spot? Well, I put him right there at second, right behind James Wood. You might have to stack some lefties, but still, I think this is the possible scenario for the Nationals to go forward here. And again, looking at the numbers for CJ Abrams batting second in 2025, been limited opportunities, but still similar to numbers to his leadoff spot. He has a 798 OPS batting second compared to a 797 OPS batting first. And I think this is just fine for CJ at this point. Right now, it's about momentum. And if your best hitter gets things started for you, you are on the right track. James Wood is, again, unequivocally the best hitter in this Nationals lineup. He's going to hit for average. He's going to hit for power. He's hopefully going to get on base, maybe a little bit more. But other teams have done this for a while now. And while some teams may not have stuck to it for a lot of times, but think back to 2021. Kyle Schwarber for the Nationals in the leadoff spot. And even then with the Phillies at times with Kyle Schwarber in the leadoff spot. He is not like your typical number one hitter. He's not the guy who's going to be stealing bases left and right. He's not that speedy guy. Yet the Phillies have had some pretty good successes over the last few seasons here with Schwarber in that leadoff spot. Now, they have Trey Turner in the leadoff spot for now, as we saw this weekend. I think that makes sense. But you've also seen guys in years past. You've seen the Nationals experiment with Juan Soto in the leadoff spot. You've seen teams out there with Aaron Judge in the leadoff spot. You've seen Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts with the Red Sox back in the day. Those guys are more prototypical leadoff hitters, but also they're your best hitters. The Nationals doing this, I love it. Change things up. Right now, in a season where you are not competitive, where you are not competing for a wild card spot, try something new. And this is something new. And I do believe that with where this lineup is today, this is what should be happening. James Wood batting second, while it wasn't broken, it also necessarily wasn't a solution. Let's try it. This offense has been so inconsistent. James Wood has struggled over the summer. Let's try him in the leadoff spot. I love that the Nationals are trying this, and honestly, going forward, if this works, let's do it on opening day. James Wood batting the leadoff spot is the correct decision, in my opinion. I applaud Miguel Cairo. I applaud Mike DeBartolo for this move because, honestly, this is what the Nationals should be doing. And this is about momentum, in my opinion. If you can get that ball rolling downhill with James Wood in the leadoff spot and having him get on base right away, and then you have your second best hitter with CJ Abrams, that's a good recipe for success. So right now, James Wood batting leadoff, I say yes. Hopefully he's in the leadoff spot tonight. We saw it this weekend. The Nationals split the series against a really good Phillies team, number one in the NL East by a couple of games. They seem to be on their way to winning the division. This is what the Nationals should be doing. Experiment new things. Try new things out. Let's do it. You have nothing to lose. If James Wood struggles in the leadoff spot, then so be it. We bring him back to the second spot, put Abrams back up in the leadoff, or maybe you change things up with Dylan Cruz in the leadoff spot. We don't know at this point. But for right now, try it because I like it. And I think a lot of people will learn to like it as well. So what would a lineup go like right now? Just kind of on paper, this is how I would do my lineup. Batting first, James Wood. Batting second, CJ Abrams. Batting third, Dylan Cruz. Batting fourth, Luis Garcia. Batting fifth, Josh Bell. Batting sixth, Dalen Lyle. Batting seventh, Brady House. Batting eighth, Drew Millis. And batting ninth, Robert Hassel III. That is how my lineup would go. It all starts at the top in your best hitter all the way down to the bottom. It's not to say those guys at the bottom are your worst hitter, but that ninth spot is kind of like your second leadoff with Robert Hassel. That's why I would put him right there at ninth for the Washington Nationals. So thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Next, let's get into some roster moves as the Nationals have optioned Jose Tena, who got the call up, but also Nathaniel Lowe is headed up to Boston. We'll talk about that after this. And yes, August 26th, you know about it. It is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week one even kicks off, this is your moment. So maybe you think Jaden Daniels, as we saw him last night against the Bengals in prime time, he looked pretty good. Maybe you think he wins the MVP this season. Well, you can bet down on FanDuel Futures Day for a plus limited deal. And also, maybe the Commanders win the Super Bowl, or maybe it's Joe Burrow and the Bengals who win the Super Bowl. You can do that on FanDuel Futures Day. It's the brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold prediction and preseason hunches. So when you do that, you visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. So take advantage with America's #1 sportsbook, that is FanDuel. And again, FanDuel, play your game. And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And yes, if you have not done so already, look up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, and of course the video version over on YouTube. Again, look up Locked On Nationals. And the Nationals have made some roster moves, and they have optioned Jose Tena for Andre Chaparro. So Andre Chaparro is back with the Washington Nationals. But let's talk about Jose Tena first here for the Nats, because honestly, going into this season, I thought Jose Tena would potentially be a big part to this Nationals lineup. I did not think that he was going to overstep Brady House, but I did believe that the Nationals would give him a lot of opportunities to succeed. And ultimately, he just hasn't really taken advantage of this opportunity. Last year at the Nationals, in really limited action, you saw him hit a couple home runs. You saw his slugging numbers up. And this year, his numbers have been down just a little bit. But with Jose Tena at this point, I still have yet to give up on him. And I don't really believe many Nationals fans have given up on him, but I also don't think a lot of Nationals fans have given this guy a real opportunity. And I think opportunities for Tena goes back to even his Cleveland Guardians days, where he was one of their top prospects, and he was a really talented guy who had really high exit velos down in AAA, but ultimately just never really got an opportunity to succeed. If you look at his AAA numbers over the last few seasons here, he has killed the ball. And even in AAA Rochester this year, he had an 870 OPS with a 480 slug. In that time, had a couple home runs, a couple doubles as well. But the opportunities just have not really been there. I'm not giving up on Jose Tena at this point. Just because he was optioned, and I think the Nationals want to see what they have with Andre Chaparro at this point, they could easily go into next season giving Jose Tena a real opportunity to succeed. Now, again, he is not going to be an everyday player for this team. But if injuries happen, if you think that Luis Garcia Jr. is traded this offseason, I'd be plenty happy with Tena starting at second base for the Nationals unless they spend. Because I do believe that this Nationals team next season, you're going to have a lot of roster opportunities for a lot of different guys. I think the Nationals will be on the trade market working Luis Garcia Jr., potentially even Mackenzie Gore again this offseason. But right now, the opportunities are just limited. And Luis Garcia Jr., he's been killing the baseball. You're going to keep him up, obviously, here. But next season, Jose Tena could be your second baseman. So keep an eye on for that moving forward. He was just optioned. When the rosters expand in September, maybe you see him called back up to the major leagues. But now with Andre Chaparro, who has looked pretty good in AAA Rochester. I mean, again, this guy has always killed the baseball in Rochester. He's killed the baseball really at wherever minor league level he's been at. It's kind of surprising when you look back that he was not a top 30 prospect for the D-backs and made his debut last year at what? How old was he? 25 years old. I mean, he's a really talented hitter, just has not been able to really click with the majors just yet. But this season in Rochester has a 961 OPS, a 577 slug. He has 14 home runs in his 48 games in AAA Rochester. Like, that raw power is intriguing for anyone out there. So with Chaparro back in the lineup, I don't think he's going to play first base every day. I think Josh Bell, the way that he has been hitting, will likely be your guy. But I could see a platoon situation there, and I would be just fine with that at this point. Giving these younger guys opportunities is going to be important. And we talked about it a lot last week with guys like Brady House sitting the bench and Robert Hassel III. That should never happen. And if you're going to call up Chaparro at this point and option Tena, you better give Chaparro opportunities to succeed. Because I do believe that they just kind of want that platoon young first baseman at this point. Jose Tena was seen taking grounders at first the other day. And I think that the Nationals might work at Tena over at first base down in AAA. And they're going to give Andre Chaparro, who has played first base, maybe not too well, an opportunity up in the bigs. So we'll see what the Nationals ultimately decide to do. But I thought that was a pretty intriguing move, and definitely watch out for the Nationals moving forward. But speaking of the Nationals, we are the Locked On Nationals podcast. We're a tour team every day. Let's talk about Nathaniel Lowe, though. Nathaniel Lowe, who cat's out the bag for me. I wanted this guy traded back in May. I was not a Nathaniel Lowe guy. Never was. I thought he had a decent bat at times. But still, I did not see this working out long term. I was ready to trade him at the deadline. And it just kind of sounds like no team wanted him because I think it's pretty clear and obvious that the Nationals wanted to move off him, but there were no takers because a lot of teams probably knew that they're going to move off Nathaniel Lowe, whether they're going to non-tender him this offseason or DFA him in the middle of the season. And they DFA'd him. The rest of Major League Baseball called their bluff, and Nathaniel Lowe has signed a one-year deal with the Boston Red Sox. And if you look back in July, we were talking about the one team, or really two teams, that could be in on Nathaniel Lowe. Number one was the Boston Red Sox, and the other team was his old team, the Texas Rangers, where he won a World Series, a Gold Glove, and as well as a Silver Slugger. I would not be surprised if Nathaniel Lowe actually works out decently for the Red Sox, because that is kind of the match that they need. They need someone who can just, number one, hold down the fort over at first base. With Tristan Casas out for the year, you need a first baseman of the future, or at least of the present. Nathaniel Lowe can fill that role for this team. And Nationals fans out there, I want to say this to you. Yes, to you. Do not be upset when Nathaniel Lowe starts to hit a lot better with the Red Sox than what he did here. Some people need change. Nathaniel Lowe needed change. And also, the Nationals, this team, they needed to move on from Lowe. This was never going to work here. It started off on the wrong foot this offseason when the Nationals and Nathaniel Lowe went to arbitration. The Nationals wanted $10.3 million. I think Nathaniel Lowe wanted something north of $11 million. And they ultimately decided to sign with the Nationals, and they got his $10.3 million deal or whatever it was at this point. That was obviously the wrong decision for the Nationals. They should have never taken their guy that they just traded for to arbitration, but it just got off on a bad foot. I just want you guys to know out there, with Nathaniel Lowe probably going to be in the starting lineup tonight for the Red Sox, once he hits 3 hits tonight with a double and a home run, do not be upset. Lefties tend to hit well at Fenway Park. It's going to happen. There's a lot of green grass in that outfield. And also, if he goes the opposite way to the Green Monster, he's going to find some opportunities to hit for some power as well. I'm not going to be mad about this. I am not going to sit here on this show in a week when he is killing the baseball saying, what did the Nationals do? Why could they not figure this out? And why is he hitting in Boston but not in DC? It was never going to work here. Nathaniel Lowe had no interest being a veteran clubhouse leader. And actually, let me take that back. He had no interest being a leader for the younger guys. He had no interest being part of this rebuild. And that's his right. That's okay. He heard the messaging just like we all did. He thought the Nationals had a chance to win this year. That's what everyone was saying. That was not the case. It was probably never going to be the case. We're silly for believing in that. So for him to be a part of a bad team right before you're getting a new contract potentially, not that intriguing to be back here. I understand why the Nationals wanted to move off him, and also understand why Nathaniel Lowe probably did not want to be here. Makes sense for both sides to move on, and that's okay. We can do that. We can spin 2 plates at once, saying that the Nationals messed up, but also, thanks but no thanks, Nathaniel Lowe. We're going to be okay. So, watching Nathaniel Lowe go to the Red Sox, thought that was an intriguing move. Some people thought that he would not sign with the team maybe until this offseason. I mean, I like Nathaniel Lowe. I think that he's going to bounce on to a team that will want him, number one, but number two, he might make it a pretty big difference for them moving forward. So hopefully Nathaniel Lowe does well. Wish him nothing but the best, and it'll be interesting to see what he does up in Boston. But the Nationals have the New York Mets coming to town tonight, and it is a fall weekend here. I have to wear a sweatshirt right now because it's so dang cold in this apartment. Fall's around the corner. But the New York Mets are in town, and you know what that means? Juan Soto is in town as well. We'll talk about that series after this. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason is already heating up, and college football is not far behind. Whether you've got your eye on big name QBs or breakout running backs, PrizePicks makes it easy to get in on the game. I'm most excited to watch Joe Burrow and, of course, Josh Allen, because those are the two kind of studs with PrizePicks. But also, do not sleep on Commanders rookie running back Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. You know him by Bill Krosky-Merritt. He is going to be a very big difference maker for the Commanders this year. You saw it last night. He scored his first touchdown in the preseason. He might be your starting running back. Also, the flex play option, I got to tell you guys about that because it is a total game changer. And even when one of your picks misses, you can still double my money with the flex play option. And PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are so fast and safe and secure. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks, run your game. And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. So the New York Mets are in town to take on the Washington Nationals. And yes, this is always a fun series, especially now with Juan Soto at the helm for the New York Mets. And just before we jump into it, Juan Soto has kind of struggled against not against the Nationals, but for the Mets overall this season. He has been kind of in this weird slump right now. And it's not even a slump. He just has not been the Juan Soto that they paid nearly $1 billion to this offseason. He has an 880 OPS and he's batting 250. All of those are career lows for him at this point. If you take out 2022, in which he kind of struggled with the Padres a little bit of getting things going, and also with the Nationals, was not himself, but Juan Soto has not been the Juan Soto that we all knew. And if you look back at 2022, and the Nationals were the worst team in baseball, one of the worst teams we've seen in the last few seasons, Juan Soto was not himself because he had a target on his back, being 22, 23, 24 years old that season. I mean, that was a really tough year for him. He won the home run derby and then he immediately was shipped up to the San Diego Padres. But Juan Soto is not just the only thing you have to worry about, because the only thing you really have to worry about is the pitching matchups for this weekend. With that in mind, though, the New York Mets have struggled mightily. I mean, they were in cruise control all season long with that number one spot in the NL East, and they have just completely fumbled down the stretch. I mean, their pitching has been poor. Their offense has been really bad as of late. Luckily for them, they go up against a really big-time struggle here with DC, with the Nationals, number one. But number two, you got Jake Irvin on the bump for the Nationals tonight. Jake Irvin, for whatever reason, his fastball velocity has been down all year. And going up against a pretty star-studded lineup with Pete Alonso, you've got Francisco Alvarez as well, who, while he hasn't been all that great against the Nationals in a lot of opportunities, he still has a lot of power in there for the Mets. And you also got Juan Soto, of course, that lefty-righty matchup. That is going to be the one to watch tonight. Juan Soto going up against Jake Irvin. That is going to be a really, really hard matchup for the Nationals tonight. So I'm really looking at that. But my main goal for the Nationals tonight is I want to see Jake Irvin bounce back. It has been a long time coming for him to make a quality start, because if you look at his past games here, I mean, it just has not been good for a while now. I mean, we look back 2 starts ago against the Giants was fine. He only gave up 3 earned runs, but it's been since July that he has had a quality start. Almost a month since he went 7 innings in Minnesota, his hometown, where he only allowed 2 earned runs. And even then before that, it was not great for him. So this is going to be a really intriguing matchup. Both teams have struggled as of late. Both offenses have been really inconsistent, but it's going to be about the pitching matchups tonight. And of course, tomorrow you've got Brad Lord going against Kodai Senga. And then on Thursday, the Nationals have Mackenzie Gore. That is going to be a fun matchup this weekend. So stay tuned for the New York Mets series. We see our old friend Juan Soto come back into town. Back-to-back series. You see Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, and now Juan Soto. Man, it stings at times. But until then, you guys get to enjoy this Mets series. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one. Go Nats.